I stood at the threshold of my childhood home, the familiar scent of damp wood and musty carpets flooding back memories I had tried so hard to forget. The air felt thick, pregnant with unspoken judgments, and the laughter that once echoed through the halls now twisted into something more sinister. The last time I was here, I was the crazy one, the family disgrace. How quickly the world can turn, I thought, gripping my bag tightly as I pushed the door open. Look who's back. My brother's voice cut through the silence, dripping with sarcasm as he leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Did you get lost in the tunnels or something? I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I'm here to talk. Talk or preach? My mother chimed in from the kitchen, her tone laced with the kind of mockery that once stung like a slap. Have you come to tell us more about your little ghosts and goblins? It's not just ghosts, Mom, I replied, my voice strained with the weight of my experiences. It's real. They exchanged bemused glances as if I were a circus act they had long outgrown. I felt the old anger rise, a bitterness that had fueled my years of research, that had driven me into the depths of the city, where I unearthed secrets that would make even the staunchest skeptic tremble. Listen, I began, willing my voice to remain steady. I found something you all need to understand. Let me guess, my brother interrupted, rolling his eyes. More nonsense about old legends? Do you want to give us a lecture on your imaginary friends? Sam, I said, staring him down, the frustration oiling to the surface. What I've seen isn't imaginary. It's terrifying. With a huff, he waved me off. Whatever you say, man. You're the one who chose this path, but don't expect us to take you seriously. My heart sank as I felt the familiar sting of betrayal. I had carved out a life in the shadows of the city, a life dedicated to documenting the horrors buried beneath its streets. The ancient tunnels, once sealed away from prying eyes, had become my obsession, and in my pursuit, I had unearthed entities that thrived on human ignorance, dark forces that fed on the tragedies hidden from the light. I had returned, not for their approval, but to warn them. Just listen, I urged, desperation creeping into my tone. Ever since I started, people have gone missing, and I've seen things that you wouldn't believe. If you continue to ignore the history of this place, you might just become a part of it. Their laughter echoed in my ears, a haunting reminder of my isolation. They didn't believe me then, and I doubted they would believe me now. But I had to try. I pulled out my notebook, filled with sketches and notes, evidence of my encounters. The horrors that had transformed me from a mere archivist into something more. I laid it on the dining table, old wood scarred and stained, just as I was. Look, I implored, flipping to a page detailing the last missing person investigation I had conducted. This goes beyond folklore. The legends are alive. They manipulate our reality, feeding on pain and sorrow. What do you expect us to do with that? My sister asked, raising an eyebrow. Pray to your spirits for help? I felt the tension build as I opened my mouth to respond. But before I could, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the light from the single bulb hanging up. They were here, manifesting from the very depths I had wrestled with. I had hoped to shield my family from this reality, but the truth was stronger than my desire to protect. Do you hear that? I asked, my voice a breathless whisper. What are you talking about? My father barked, defensively scanning the darkness. No, it's real. They're here, I pressed, the weight of my knowledge heavy on my shoulders. They feast on disbelief, and you've all fed them for years. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into forms, grotesque shapes that twisted and writhed, pulling themselves from the corners of the room. They crawled along the walls, whispering secrets in a cacophony of dissonance, taunting the very essence of my family's skepticism. I watched as the realization dawned on their faces, horror etched across their features as they comprehended the depth of their folly. They had laughed, they had ridiculed me, and now the consequences loomed large before us. Run! I shouted, but the words felt hollow. The shadows surged forward, reaching for them, hungry for the very disbelief that had sustained them for so long. Chaos erupted in the dim light, and I felt a sharp pang of sorrow for the family that had once been my refuge. They were witnessing the horrors I had fought against, and it was too late for them to turn back now. I had endured the darkness, but they had become its prey. As I stepped back, engulfed in the shadows, I felt the weight of my triumph and sorrow mingle. I had survived this torment, but at what cost? I turned my back to the chaos, shrouded in the knowledge that I would forever carry the burden of what they could never understand. In that moment, as I escaped the living nightmare, I found clarity. I had emerged from the depths of despair, a guardian of what should not be forgotten, while my family was bound to the very fears they had mocked. As I stepped outside, the night air felt crisp against my skin. The city loomed before me, a labyrinth of secrets yet to be uncovered. I had achieved something profound, but it came with a heaviness that would forever haunt me. A bittersweet vindication that echoed with the screams of those who refused to listen.